I'm trying something a little bit different today. I brought this into my computer, on my iPad I should say, and I'm going to try and figure out how this thing works, because I really haven't done it that much yet. So this is the drawing of the Trojan that we've been working on the last couple of days. And I'm just going to start outlining. And again, you'll notice that there are pieces missing out of here. So I'm just going to go right over the top of this. And that's a really small brush. And that's a little too big. So I'm just going to go right over the top of the drawing. Oh, still too big. And carefully outline, and again make changes as I go to the drawing as necessary. Like this guy's fist was a little bit too high there, so I'm just going to ignore the original one. And I'm just going around and adding things. The other thing is, on his wrist, instead of there just being this, what looks like a wristband, we're going to do an entire arm guard. Because this is probably a little more accurate. And you can see I'm going to have a lot of cleanup to do, because I'm still very new at this application. So if you're doing this on paper, well, that's interesting. It varies the size of the brush based on how hard I press. So if you're doing this on paper, just carefully go around and darken in all of your lines and add things as you go. I think I'm going to make the bridge, the nose bridge, a little bit smaller too. So the application I'm using is called Procreate. You've probably heard of it before. And I'm just carefully going over the top of it. I really haven't delved in too much into how this application works. So I'm just sort of figuring it out as I go. It's pretty cool that it varies the line weight based on how much pressure it's perceived. Because the truth is, this is an iPad, and there is no pressure. So there must be some mechanism in the brush itself, or in the pencil, that sort of makes it experience different pressures. So as I said, if I just barely touch the screen, it goes like that. But if I press down hard, look at that, that's the same brush. Anyway, I'm just going to keep figuring this out as I go and change things up. This is the curvature of the helmet. One of the cool things, the other cool things about this is you can zoom in real easy on this device. And again, I'm doing this on my iPad, but you can be doing these same types of strokes and so forth with your pencil on your on a piece of paper. So let's see, that follows through here. Again, the paintbrush goes behind his head. Almost in an attacking position. So if this were on a piece of paper, I would be using either an ink pen or a pencil, or possibly a colored pencil, to do these additions. I'm going to bring his chest plate where his neck goes in like that. Add some basic shapes for the center of his chest plate. So here's the deal, my document camera broke. I was on the phone for a good part of the afternoon yesterday talking to technical support, and they didn't have an answer, so I called the manufacturer, and the answer was, oh, yeah, it's broken, it's done. I'm like, what do you mean? Can we fix it? Nope, can't be fixed, and it's out of warranty. So I ordered another one. So I'm not being as careful, and I'm not as good at this yet as I need to be. But basically, if you imagine this as being on a piece of paper, just for this initial inking or this initial drawing, I'm just going to finish it up so that I have something to show today. There's his belt. This is the skirt that goes underneath these leather pieces. This is the shin guard. And I think these are made out of leather also, except for this round piece in the middle, which is a piece of metal. Metal. So one of the things that the iPad enables a user to do is it enables a user to create layers. So if you think of layers on Procreate as just being another sheet of paper, on top of and tracing over the top of it. So what that's going to let me do is, as I get better at using Procreate, I can correct every one of these lines on another layer. But for today, here's my expectation. I would like you to draw over the lines from the transfer from yesterday's assignment. And turn in a drawing that looks something like this one. Oops, forgot his smile. Except he's not really smiling, sort of grimacing. So, upload this drawing to your Google Drive. Oh, look at that, I can erase. And also to Google Classroom. I'm just going to take a little time and outline all of this with my eraser. And erase all of this stuff so that that piece of paper looking thing stands out a little bit more. Sort of stylizes the drawing a bit. I'm not so concerned about getting all of this perfectly done, but I just want to isolate the character And I'll probably do another layer on top of this one because there's a brush in here somewhere, or a way of using a brush that smooths out your lines as you draw. I've seen it demonstrated, but not explained very well. There's an artist on YouTube that I follow, and she does these really cool illustrations of seemingly super simple characters in very complex layouts. And I think she's from Russia, if I'm not mistaken, or at least in Eastern Bloc country somewhere. But the problem is she doesn't explain what she's doing, so you can sort of watch her draw, and at least she has music playing in the background. But one of the things that I find not terribly helpful is there are all these amazing artists out there that are doing some really cool stuff, but they're not really teaching you, they're just allowing you to watch them draw and paint and so forth. So I don't find that very... I subscribed to her channel for a long time, but it really wasn't that helpful because, number one, she was going really fast, and obviously she's been using Procreate for a really long time. But she went way too fast for me to see what she was actually doing. Brushes she was choosing, whatever that elastic auto correction, auto smoothing feature was. I definitely got to find that one out because these lines could be a whole lot better. In any event, this is what the expectation is for today. I hope this video saved. We shall see in just a minute. So upload this to your Google Drive, and that will be today's assignment. I'm just expecting the ink part, or the drawing over the top of the other one. And I think, nope, I painted right over the top of it. I could have actually done this on another layer, but instead I altered this one. So this is my drawing for today.